Hello, welcome to Linguistic Landscape Project. Today, we'll explore how language works in real life, as a practice that shapes spaces, meanings, and identities. Before you go into the field, let's learn three key ideas: linguistic landscape, multimodality, and translanguaging. These will help you understand what you see and hear around you. Language is not just a system of rules in a textbook. Language is something people do in their everyday lives. We call this idea language as practice. Language changes depending on how people use it. It's alive, flexible, and always moving. It's not just grammar. It's about action. When people use language in a certain place, they don't just communicate. They also shape the meaning of that space. For example, a cafe sign in English and Korean doesn't only sell coffee. It also creates an international feeling in that street. Language is never neutral. The way we speak or read signs changes depending on the situation, the people around us, and even power differences. For instance, the same word might feel friendly in one place but rude in another. Each of us has our own language repertoire, the set of languages, accents, or styles we can use. But our choices are also shaped by bigger forces, like globalization, history, and media. So language practice is both personal and social. In public spaces, signs are not just information. They show us culture, identity, and even hidden hierarchies. Reading signs is also a practice. It's not just reading words, but also colors, images, and design. When you look at signs during your fieldwork, remember, you're seeing how people practice language in society. The linguistic landscape is more than just street signs or shop names. It's about how language in public spaces creates and shows social meaning. When people put up signs, posters, menus, or advertisements, they are not just giving information. They are also shaping how we feel about that place, and what identities or values are connected to it. Signs reflect identity, personal, group, and even national identity. They can also show us hidden things like power, ideology, or cultural values. For example, if English is used more than Korean in a certain area, that might tell us something about the status of English there. When you read a sign, you're not only reading the words. You're also reading colors, images, the style of writing, and how everything is arranged. All of these work together to make meaning. That's why we say linguistic landscape is multimodal. Reading signs is also emotional and social. It makes us feel something and connects us with others. Studying signs helps us understand the link between language and society. It gives us critical awareness. We see how language reflects power, norms, and identity. And it helps us realize that our own language use also carries social meaning. Finally, translanguaging. This idea says people don't treat languages as isolated categories. Instead, we use our whole language repertoire flexibly. For example, you might mix Korean, English, and gestures to get your point across. That's a creative way to communicate. Translanguaging helps us negotiate meaning, build relationships, and show our identities as flexible multilinguals. So when you go into the field, look at signs not only as text but as social practices. Notice the words, images, designs, and languages that are mixed. Ask yourself, what does this sign do in this place? What meanings are being created here? What does this sign tell me about identity, power, or belonging? This will help you see language in a deeper way. That's all for today. Thanks so much for joining, and I hope to see you again next time.